Hi everyone and welcome to Nina's Sofra. I will show you today how to prepare cronut, a pastry which is a mix of croissant and donut, invented by French chef Dominique Ancel. I was very excited the first time I was making it, and after trying them we all went crazy. It's crunchy, full of pastry layers, filled with heavenly cream, and if you had enough of classical donuts or sweet fritters, this recipe is ideal to bring something new to your desserts list. First, I will put the flour and the salt together in the kitchen machine and mix it for 15 to 20 seconds just to air it well and the salt to be spread all over the flour. Then I'm adding in the flour egg whites, melted butter, sugar, milk, yeast, and knead it in your kitchen machine. It all depends on the program of kneading it has, until you get a well incorporated sticky dough. You can also do it manually, but use the wooden spatula because the dough will stick to your hands much. After the dough is finished, transfer it to the flat surface. Put some flour on it and knead it a little until you form a ball. Then put it in the greased bowl, cover with plastic wrap and leave it in the warm for 1 hour or until it doubles its size. The dough has doubled, so release the air from it with your fingers and then transfer it to the flat surface. Put some flour on it and keep flattening it until you reach a form of rectangle, which you will put on a tray, cover it with a plastic wrap, put it in the freezer for 30 minutes and then in the fridge overnight. Next day, before you take the dough out of the fridge, take room temperature butter and mix it with your mixer until it becomes foamy. That will make it easier to be spread all over the dough. Now take the dough, it's nice and firm, and take the roller to flatten it into a sheet. Try to calculate to be 3 times wider than the tray you are using. After you flattened it, take the butter and spread it all over the surface, trying to make it even. Then, fold 1/3 of the dough over the middle third and after the last third onto the middle one, and you will get a rectangle. Even all the sides and put it again on the tray and cover it with a plastic wrap. Then put it in the freezer for 15 minutes and then in the fridge for 20 minutes. In the meantime, we will prepare the filling, the lovely sweet cream. Put the milk into a pot, put inside egg yolks, sugar, flour, cornstarch, vanilla extract and start mixing with a mixer. That way you will for sure avoid creating any lumps inside the mixture. Then put the milk to a boil and stir until you get a firm and smooth cream. After you see it start thickening, reduce the fire to minimum for the bottom not to burn. Stir for 2 minutes and then turn off the fire and stir in the butter. Mix it well until the butter melts and creates a wonderful silky structure of the cream. Then take the plastic wrap, stick it directly to the cream, and that will help the crust not to be created on the surface, and leave the cream to cool off on a room temperature. After the dough was in the freezer and the fridge, take it out and fold in thirds again, only without the butter. Repeat this process for 4 times more, so this one and 3 more, and again, each time 15 minutes in the freezer and 20 minutes in the fridge. That will make the dough having lovely layers, the same like croissant. So after the dough has been folded 4 times, it's ready now to be rolled and cut out in donut shape. I used a donut round cutter diameter 9 cm and for the hole 3 cm. I'm putting the cutter in the flour and then cut the circles. It's much easier because the dough is a bit sticky. If you can notice the pieces of the butter on the dough on the surface, they will help in creating many thin layers while frying. Then take the 3 centimeters cutter and cut the holes in the middle. I cut the small pieces out of the baking paper as I will be putting each cronut on it, but before I floured it a bit to be able to easily detach cronut from the paper before putting it in the frying oil. Remove the middle circles and start transferring each cronut on its paper. The leftover of the dough as well as the small circles you can also fry. Maybe it will not look that well as the cronuts, but for sure they will be very tasty. Take the plastic wrap and cover them. Leave them for 1 to 2 hours to rise on a warm place, but not too warm as the butter might start melting away. And now is the frying time. Heat the oil to 175 degrees, or if you don't have thermometer, take the wooden spoon, put it in the oil, and as soon as you see the lots of bubbles forming around it, the temperature is all set. Start taking the cronuts, each from its paper, and putting it in the hot oil, with the upper side first. Don't fry them many together as they shouldn't be touching each other. I always fry one by one as each one takes about a minute to be done. 30 seconds on one side and 30 seconds on the other side, until they get a lovely brown color. And then transfer them on the plate, cover with a napkin, to soak the excess oil. After you finish frying them, leave them to cool off for 20 minutes. While they are cooling off, I mix the cream to soften it a bit and get the silkiness again, and then transfer it to the piping tube, or if you have a piping bag with a round tip or a long one just like I have, but it must be a bit wider as the cream will not pass through a very narrow tip. Then take each donut and start filling them by sticking the long tube inside and injecting the cream, and fill it generously. Look at these lovely layers, they're so crunchy.
Thanksgiving Day.
When you finish, it's up to you how you will decorate them. You can just sprinkle some powdered sugar over them, or you can sugar glaze them. Whatever you choose, you will choose well. They are the best eaten the same day, as they will lose its crunchiness the next day. If you decide to surprise your guests with it, the best is to make them 2 to 3 hours prior to their arrival. That way, the enjoyment will be to the fullest. Thank you for watching my video recipe for cronuts, and don't forget to like and subscribe and press the little bell to be notified of all my new video recipes. Sofra Haneya, bon appetit!